like, hey, we're back. We got cut short a little bit earlier. Let's get back into what we were doing. We have our YouTube listener. It's deployed, but yeah, like it's cool. It's out there. I took the steps, and I went and I upgraded the readme. Let me add my changes, right? So if you want to follow along, if you're following along, we are building a YouTube listener like this thing. We're going to subscribe to our YouTube events. Let's talk about that. Let's bring that over here. This is what we're doing. This is the docs I was looking for earlier. We want to subscribe to these push notifications. So when we upload a video or we update a video title or a description, we're signing up for this callback. And this is the topic. This is the thing that we're signing up. I don't know if I signed up for the right channel ID, but you click this button, right? This is the PubSub hubbub. I filled in these things, and wait, you know what? I don't think I remember clicking that. It doesn't really give me an option, but this is what we did. We're ready to go. We've deployed it, and we're going to see if it works. So how do we test this? I don't know. I was thinking like, hey, right now it's just like pulling in, and it's grabbing. Let me update where we're at. Right, get status. Let me add some stuff. I just added some docs. And what else? What else did I do here? Oh, I changed the consumes. So if you're following along, here's where we are. Thomas, thank you for being here. I'm happy that you're here. I appreciate you. And we're building some YouTube stuff. Sorry, I got some notifications in my ear. So give me just a sec. All right, here we go. We are here. Whoops, what did I hit? I hit something. All right, this is what we're doing. Let me show where we're at. GitHub.com, Java Grunt. There's two there. .com. This one. I showed that we have some pipelines, so you can actually like build these and you can do this same exercise, but I added some docs. This is what I was looking for, and it's out there. And it looks like we can do some things like adding a token that we can validate, but we'll look into that. The whole idea here is we have an application. Actually, I should put this, I should put it somewhere. Isn't there like a website? Yeah, website, HTTP. Oh, you know what I need to fix? I need to fix that index.html. YouTube listener.javagrunt.com/docs/index.html. That should be easy to fix, right? We're not going to put any releases there, but this is definitely Spring Boot. This is definitely Actuator and YouTube. YouTube API push. PubSub. I'll just do YouTube and REST docs. Right? Is that not a thing? I want Spring REST docs because that's what I used. There it is. Yeah, so we got some stuff we're adding, but I want you to be able to like do. Let's add that. Like this is the subscriber for YouTube video event push notifications. Sure. And we'll save that. Good. Here, so now we're all updated. If you want to follow along, you can. We're running HTTPS. Right? Oh, I got the link right here. There we go. The docs. Now, cool thing is, you saw it took a sec to spin up because it scaled down. All right, so if I go over here, I'm doing these native images. Where's my stuff? Hold on, clear. Let's bring this over here and show our stuff scaling up and scaling down like as we expect. So here's what we're doing. I've got this deployed on my local box, that K3D juice cluster. So let's go to K9s, and oh, it's scaling down now. So it scaled up to answer the call, and now it's scaling down. So if you're clicking the link, like it's there, it's live. So I want to make this a little bit smaller, I think, because I think there's one more column. Oh, no, there's not. But we can see that it's scaling down. We expect that. That's the whole point. The settings, do I have the Flux repository? Yep. So here we see that when it scales up, it's going to scale up with 3. Max instances is going to be 10. We don't expect that. This is just a pub sub. I'm not doing a ton of videos. So yeah, we're going. We've defined which version we want to deploy. We did that using the Maven, the JGitver. Oops, not here. The way that my little convention here is I'm using Maven JGitver. So when I create a new tag, that tag is what kicks off my automation. So I can commit all day, like the one that I just did, this commit that I just did a couple seconds ago. I can commit that, but it's not going to kick off my automation. Right? So even though I made changes to the repo, it did not kick off the automation to build a new image for deployment. So there are changes, but I'm going to work on those changes. This is just how I'm doing things, and we'll go. But I'm making this as visible and as public as possible, from everything, from the repo to how I deploy to the pipelines that I'm using. I'm giving you examples of how to build these native images, how to squish them together in a manifest, so you can deploy it on your x86, your Atomic Pi, or your Raspberry Pi. So I gotta get some music in my ears. It's been a fun, interesting week, but let's keep going. Let's validate that this thing works. That's the key. So here's what I don't have. Where's my player? Where's my music player? Here's what I don't have. I don't have my, hello, I'm glad you're back. I am glad you're back. Welcome. We're doing stuff. What I don't have is, I don't remember what I was going to say. I don't have music. Oh, I also know what I say. I don't have my logging and my metrics set up for this Java Grunt tenant that we just set up. So I have an opinion on how I want that set up. I don't hear any music. Why don't I hear any music? What did I do? I messed up something. I apologize for this. Normally I would like to be a little bit more professional, but I apologize. I don't know what I've done here. It says it's playing, but did I mute it? Where's the output going? We'll get there. So it's on game. Oh, it's just really, really quiet. Okay. All right. Now we're good. We got music in the ear. Trying to set up a Flux system using your Flux control is yes. Like that's the thing. Like that's what I want. I want that for you. I want you to have, for everybody else, here's what we're doing. I've set up Flux control. So it's a central, GitOps, Flux-driven repository that allows me to control and deploy stuff for all of my clusters. Right? I have all these different clusters of things. Someday we'll get into that. We'll do a little bit more like infrastructure stuff. But I set this up. We went through this morning where, hey, I've got this cluster. This is my daily driver, K3D Juice. It's been bootstrapped with Flux. And I said, hey, here's the stuff I want deployed. The infrastructure I want deployed to that cluster is just Knative serving right now because this is just my laptop, my daily driver. I'm doing development for now. But I've also got 2 tenants deployed, and I modified this. So if you looked at this, do you have a blog post or something on how to set up Flux? No, I don't. So the cool thing, what I do have is I have the examples here. So if you set up, look at what I did. I put this out here. This is how I set up my K3D Juice cluster, right? K3S you saw, right? I have another blog post on how I did K3S. I'm glad you're here. Like that you're using this stuff. That makes me happy. So we're gonna get back to the YouTube thing, but this is where all the YouTube stuff is running. So we're just gonna do that. So here I talk about how I deploy K3s, and it hasn't changed. I use K3 sup, right? K3 sup, right? I'm a big fan of that. That's how I use. That's what I do for everything. So everything got deployed in a very similar fashion. So this blog is still very relevant. You'll get the latest version. For my my laptop, I'm using K3D, which just all I've got is Docker desktop, and then I run this K3D to give me a Kubernetes cluster running there, and then I run the Bootstrap, right? And I've got my little tag here that makes sure that I'm connected to the right cluster, and then it uses that kubectx-c to tell me which cluster you're connected to, and I'm filling that in this command. So you set up a cluster, you set up Kubernetes. You want to do that? We can do it real quick, right? Like what could possibly go wrong? Watch this. Actually, I don't even have to do it on this one. We can go to another box, and let's walk through this. So I'm on another box. Robotech, hello. Thank you for joining. I'm excited because we have some good questions and I'm inspiring somebody, and that makes me excited. But welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Thomas says, what would you recommend for a managed platform? Did you ever try out digital app platform or similar, or is there an open source version for a managed platform? Oh, I know what you're talking about. I looked at it, and some of the things were there. There's different tools. There's different things. I've tried a lot of them. Earlier this year and last year, I did a bunch of like blogs on how you could do these different things, but there's all sorts of ways. And maybe I'll circle back to that. Right? Remember Dan Vega did a bunch of series, like all the different ways that you can take Spring Boot to production. There's tons of options, and there's even more options today than there was back then. So yeah, we have options. I have been able to set up Flux and Knative, but now I struggle with setting up a tenant, getting air now. Anywhere I can post it. Yeah, you know what? Are you on Discord? Are you on Discord? Yes, I'm on Discord. If you're on Discord, we'll figure out. Here, send me an email. And we'll connect that way. My email is deshaun@deshaun.com. Look at that. That's my email. If you still use that email, send me an email, and I'll send you a Discord invite, and we'll go. Yeah, Java Freaks, Java Grunts, Java Freaks. That works as well. So yes, I understood what you're talking about there. Thomas, like for my new company, we don't have an ops person, and I want to stay away from Helm or similar, as every minute spent in ops is a minute not spent on features. Have you heard about my favorite thing? Right, you have, right? And I was just talking about this a minute ago. I'm a big fan of. Here's a presentation I did, and this repository has some code in it, but I like Azure Spring Apps for Enterprise as like, hey, here's my app, run it, keep it up. It's Kubernetes under the hood. It's tons of application platform under the hood, tons of build servers under the hood. It does a lot of good things for you, and your apps just run. So if you want to stay away from the dirty stuff that we're getting into here, this is my number one favorite place to run things. And like this happens to be there. Like I'm a big fan of that for these reasons. I've got reasons, and I talk about this. So that's where I would point you to first, because then you can just kind of like plug in, like, oh, I want a database, and it's just given to you by the platform, and it's well integrated. That's where I would start. And we're connected. So if you want help, or if you'd like a little intro, we can just hop on a Zoom. I'll be happy to walk you through and take questions, or however you want to dig in. I'm happy. Like, we can set up a talk and have a real conversation about what you need and what you're looking for. I'm happy to do that. Happy to do that. So perfect. We're going to get connected there, and we're going to get you set up so you can get through, because the tenant piece, that model, and I slightly changed it. So in the cluster, now I've got the tenant directory. So up here at the cluster level, it's going to deploy everything that it finds. Let's use this. It's going to deploy everything it finds. So it understands, hey, that's there. That's the hook. But then Flux looks in here and says, oh, you want to deploy key native serving? And I've got a customization there that says, yeah, I want to deploy this, the ARM64 version. Cool. And it deploys that for me. So wonderful. So yeah, Azure Spring Apps is interesting, but you need AP. No, well, the pricing, we can solve that for you too. Let's have a conversation about it. The thing is, it's like, the pricing includes everything and more. Like you're a Spring certified professional, right? So you understand. Did you know this? This is a little known fact. And I hate to sound like commercial, but this is the stuff that I love, and this is what I do. But like, when you deploy to Azure Spring Apps, you also get access to support for your Spring Apps. That's included in the pricing. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Like, if you deploy your Spring Boot apps to Azure Spring Apps Enterprise, you automatically get coverage. You automatically get Spring support. Like, how cool is that? That's awesome. Probably a minor error, something about a key-native service resource not found. Okay. Sent the mail. All right, fantastic. We're gonna get you taken care of. Yeah, we'll get you taken care of. And we'll get it figured out. I want you to have this joy. Like, it's pretty easy. If you've been watching, it's pretty slick. Where we created this today. We created the new tenant today. And we said here, and then down in the tenants, we said, hey, for that, here's the repository I want you to sync from, which we looked at, excuse me, here. And that's out there available, so you can see exactly how I'm doing it. All the things are there. I didn't do a big write-up on it, and maybe I should. Maybe I should kind of write how I connect the dots. But I did a show with Lee to talk about this setup, and it works. It's a pretty slick little setup. But what I was going to show you is, actually, I was going to show you something, but you're already past that. Never mind. So we're here. We have this thing deployed. And what I don't know is, like, I want to look at my my logs, because I didn't deploy Loki and Prometheus. I don't have that deployed for this tenant. So awesome. That makes me feel wonderful. That makes me feel wonderful. Have fun. And I'm trying to do as much of this in public as possible. So let's just keep on. Let's just keep on going. I had some other conversations. I'm going to clean up my notes, but I want to get back to where we were earlier today. Had some fun conversations. But I want to get back to the stuff. So just a reminder, I'm having fun here. It's okay to interrupt me. I'm here for you. Ask questions. This is what we're doing. This is what we did. We set up the cloud for D. We made sure that we could access the service. Then I pull it up somewhere. Yep, here. We made sure we can access it. Now it's public. It's there. I signed up. I said, hey, point to this service, I believe. And now we want to, like, test it out. We want to see if it works. So what are we going to do? We're going to add, we're going to do one of these things. We're going to update a video title. And we're going to do that over here in YouTube. We're going to update a video title from earlier today. Not that one. Where? This is the one that we did earlier today, right? Today's the 15th. Or no, is that right now? I don't know. This one. We're doing this one. We're gonna edit this. And what I'm hoping is that when I save this, I'm gonna get some call over to my event until errors are resolved. What? Oh, it's not made for kids, but don't. All right. So now, I don't know how long it's going to take for that, and I don't have my logging set up, so I need to figure out real quick how to look at the logs for that service. But that service is scaled to 0. So these are interesting things. These are interesting things. So Knative logging. I need to just go ahead and take the steps and set up Loki. I don't know what the turnaround time should be. So this might be, did I save it? I saved it. So I updated that video's title. I expect to see it at some point. But we'll see. We'll see. So I want to get my logging set up. So I'm gonna leave that sit there. I'm gonna try to keep my eye on it, and I'm gonna go over here and look at Knative serving and my logging. Excuse me. I have some sniffles. Logs for all Knative components managed through the config logging, config map. Serving components are configured through config logging. Event components, config logging. So I have a log collector. I didn't set up tracing. So I kind of have some more stuff to set up, is what I'm feeling like. And my opinion is, yeah, I really was hoping that, cool, I'd make a change and I'd get an event. But that doesn't seem to be happening. So I might have something not configured right. But I also have other ways of looking at this, right? Because I'm using Cloudflare D, I can have it point right to my IDE, for example. So should I do that? That would be a nice little like plug-in too. So yeah, I don't know what the turnaround time is for this. I'm gonna move this over, and I'll look at this kind of on the side as let's read. So when I did this, the callback URL, we can see what I put in. We can see there's my channel, and you can subscribe to my channel. Like, there's no reason not to. The verify type, I don't think it told me to do anything on the verify type. Oh, I probably chose asynchronous, which means, yeah, it could be then, maybe later. It might be queued up somewhere. Let's do this. Mode, I think it's subscribe, right? But I'm going through all the steps. I'm trying to do as much of this in the open as possible. And that's it. Oh, let's give this, how long do I want that lease? How many seconds in 180 days? That's how. I want this for 180 days. Will that number work? Boom. Oh, check this out. It hit. So something happened. It said, hey, yeah, cool. But that might have just been like making sure that it's healthy. So now how do we take a look at those logs? Oops, wrong one. I'm not going to know which one it was. So it started up in 0.08 seconds. So it looks like, oh, here it is. Oh, so I assumed it was going to be a post, so it didn't post any data. All right, so we're figuring it out. That was probably just to verify that, hey, that exists. When I did the new subscription, but I still didn't get a read. So the other thing is, I don't want three instances right now. So let me take a peek. I'm gonna go modify these. So I'm looking at auto scaling. Targets, configure scale to 0. So let's take a look at this real quick. So using Knative, you already see that it's scaled to 0. Country map, boom, enable scale to 0. Yeah, of course. I didn't do that in the country map. Grace period. Scale. So the min scale is 3. No, targets. Oh. Target metrics. Where's my min max? There's the min scale. What's the activation scale? That's where I know I'm staying at 3, right? So I'm just going to remove this. So I just get one at a time. That's easy enough. And I'm going to make the max 3. How's that? So I still want it to scale. It's not going to. I don't even need this. I'm going to make it max of 1. It's just pulling in 1, especially now that we're in our dev. So now here's the cool thing. I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna have to put in my credentials. So here's what we're doing. This is how I change the deployment. I hope this works. Git add. If it doesn't, I'm just changing scale. Let's try to take a look real quick at the kubectl git customizations. I should probably do this. Watch. to see this one change. I don't know that it will, because I don't know, and this is something for you, that the way that I have my flux control set up, I don't have my nests set up properly. So I might have to take an extra step here. And that's okay, right? We're gonna do it live. I'm not embarrassed. We're gonna close up some stuff that we don't need. We're showing stuff. We already showed this. This is what we were just looking. This is what we're doing. I'm gonna close up some stuff just to get my life right. But let's open that flux control if we can. Try not to show off any secrets. And what we're gonna do here is, I'm just gonna say, go ahead and bootstrap it again, because I'm not sure that my nested configs are coming in. And that's something I need to get Lee in for. I'll get some guidance, because he knows all these things. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, hey, go bootstrap that cluster again. I don't need to do it here. I can do it over here. Go bootstrap that cluster again. Do all the things. Make sure everything's in sync. We'll see. We'll see if it works. But what I'm trying to do, the change that I just made, is I don't want 3 instances of this listener, because I'm expecting one event. When there's a change in this feed, I'm expecting a post, and that's it. Scale up, get it, and then we'll move on. That's it. And that's all that I want to do today. I just want to have this connected and this working, and then we'll keep on going. So I don't know, let's check. Let's go back to our cluster. We'll see if this worked or not. K9s. And when we're gonna look here for Java Grunt, because that's where we deployed it. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hit the documentation, because it's gonna scale up to show the documentation as well. YouTube listener index, and it pulled up. Oh, but it pulled it up from cache. So let's do that again. And there, it scaled up, and I only got 1. So you know what else I'm gonna do now that I said it? I'm gonna change my window. So while we're here, while we're working on my daily driver, my laptop, I don't want just, I'm gonna let it stay up a little bit longer than 30 seconds. Like 900 seconds, right? That's a minute, that's 10 minutes. Yeah, let's go 900 seconds, because I get distracted. All right, so we're just gonna do that same thing again. And we're gonna say, hey, like when you do stand up, after 900 seconds, if you're not taking traffic, you can go ahead and shut down. Cool? That makes sense? Git add dot, git commit. But did I set a target? Like, is it gonna scale down? Yeah. So it's got defaults. So we're changing the change window. I'm gonna run my bootstrap again, just to make sure that it goes. Cool. It's gonna go do the things. Let's go back to K9s. So now, if I get an event from YouTube, from the pub sub, that instance will stand up, and we'll be able to take a look. Because all that we're doing right now, like this is just, we just want to check to make sure that we were getting events. So if I go back here, I'm gonna go to YouTube, I'm gonna try this again, and I'm gonna change, is this the one from this morning, I believe. We're gonna say like, or I think I can do the description as well. Here. This is a new description. Boom. Let's save it. And let's see. Oh, look at there. We got something. It stood up. But there's nothing. Let's do this. Let's hit 0 to just tail our logs. And we'll see if we get anything. We only have one instance. So the traffic is going to come here. So we're just using K9s to go and look at our logs to see. So now I think I set up 2 subscriptions, one asynchronous and one synchronous. And according to this, according to the docs, I should get something, right? So your PubSub Hubbub callback server receives Atom feed notifications when a channel does any of the following activities. We did this one the first time. We did this one just a second ago. And we did this. We set up a callback server. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm expecting something different. Maybe I am looking at this the wrong way. I kind of expected a post, but maybe I'm supposed to be subscribing to something. You know what? I bet you that is what I'm supposed to do. Oops. Subscribe to my channel ID. Uh-oh, 405. Maybe the subscribe didn't work. Oh, maybe I gave it too. Maybe that's a bad value. Let's try this again. Let's do this. And let's 30 days. I should know that number, right? Let's try this. Here's our thing. Do it. I was late to the stream. Can anyone explain what is the purpose of Flux and why do we need Circle CI? Okay, absolutely. So, bad response, 405. This told me something. Please hold. It says it's supposed to be a 204. So maybe I'm doing something. Maybe I didn't get my subscriptions set up. So let's take a look here. What is the purpose of Flux? Yes. So friendly reminder, I don't have any mission. This. So let's take a look at Flux. This is so that we can do things GitOps driven, right? This is GitOps, what we want to do. I don't want to have manual deployment process. I don't want to have steps in a wiki. When I want to make changes, like I just did a little bit ago, when I want to make changes to something, I want to go in here and I want to do git commit and then expect it to be in production. So that's GitOps, so that anytime I need to go back and look, log, I have an audit trail of who's done what. Like all the changes that have happened, I got an audit trail. So if I ever need to like roll back for something, I can go back, I can undo, I can go back into my Git history and I can get back to a previous state. So that's what I think about when I think about GitOps and why and how easy it is because I don't want to be in tools and doing the clicky, steppy step stuff. Which that stuff is great for a demo, but for me, for you, right? And I'm just here building, a platform on top of Raspberry Pis. But for you in production, you don't want to be dealing with pointy clicky. There's an issue. We had a typo, and it's in production, and it's Super Bowl, and things are broken. How many people do you have to call, or can you just go and do a git commit? Do a git commit and let it go to production. That path to production is an important piece, and I know that I've heard about this for a long time, and I've got strong opinions. It's just I just want to do git commit. I want to have things happen, and I go to production. So the other part of your question is, why do we need Circle CI? So I'll be like transparent here. The reason I put those repositories, let me find the repo. Not this one. Let me find github.com javagrunt grunt-com/ this. The reason I put these, right? Friends don't let friends deploy. Like, we'll do what we got to do. We'll do what we got to do. There's no reason that you should avoid doing deployments. If we're doing this right, that's one of the things that Knative allows us to do. If we're doing this right, we can have multiple deployments. We can say, hey, did that work? And then we can start to move traffic over to the new deployment without having downtime, right? Like, the technology exists. And it's not that we're not smart enough to do it. It's just sometimes we don't take the steps, right? Oh, hey, it's working. Sometimes it's easier to say, hey, don't deploy. It's okay to deploy, even on Super Bowl Sunday. So we're here. The reason, my transparency, and Dan, I'm so glad you're here, man. Happy Friday. The reason why I put these workflows out here was for you to have an example of how to build these images. It's super simple, but I run on Raspberry Pis and I run on Nooks. So I've got both. What kind of architecture are you on? Are you on ARM64 or are you on x86, AMD 64? Because I'm building native images. And the next, you're supposed to ask, like, what are the native images? I'm using the latest version of Spring Boot 3.2. And with that, I get the ability to build statically linked native binaries. So the artifacts that I'm deploying, I'm making them native images. So my containers are smaller. My memory footprint is smaller. Let me do a quick little demo. Let's go over here. And I do this demo all the time. That's not the one I want. I want to do this one. So here's what we're gonna do. Just follow along. It's gonna be quick, really quick. If I had Java on Java 8, all right, look, don't do this at home. We're gonna clone Spring Boot 2.6 because you can't generate one with the initializer anymore. So I've got this Spring Boot 2.6 app. It's simple. It's just got a web and an actuator. I'm gonna start it up. I'm gonna show you. I'm going the long way to show you about the native images, but this is like the old way. So it's starting. It's good. Yep, it's up. It's healthy. Fantastic. Like, we're making progress. Java 8 in Spring Boot 2.6. And there it is, 366.1 megabytes. Well, this device is a Raspberry Pi 02, and it only has 512 megabytes of memory. This is a simple Spring Boot app, and it takes 366 megs of that memory. So it doesn't leave me a lot of room to do a lot of things on a device like this. Okay, so let's see if we can do better. And there's an easy way to do better is just by upgrading your Java version and upgrading your Spring Boot version. So here I'm running this recipe called Upgrade Spring Boot 3.2 using the Maven plugin, and it knows how to upgrade my Spring Boot 2.6 app that's running Java 8. It knows how to upgrade it to Spring Boot 3.2 and Java 21. It's got a nested recipe that takes it from Java 2.6 to 2.7, from 2.7, there it is, 2.6 to 2.7, 2.7 to 3.0, 3.0 to 3.1, all the way to 3.2. So now I'm ready to run 3.2. And now, because I've got Spring Boot 3, you have to get up to Java 17, but Java 21 has been out for months. Java 21 is middle age. Java 22 is gonna be here in just 3 short months. Java 21 came out in September, October, November, it's December. There's a new Java version every 6 months, January, February, March. We got 3 months. Java 21 is middle age. There's no reason you should be using Java 17. Java 21 is faster, get it. There's lots of reasons, but let's go. We have now our app got upgraded. We're now on Spring Boot 3.2. And it's up. It started up a little bit faster, and it's up and healthy. So this application is up and healthy, and all we did was upgrade it. Look at this, 207 megabytes. So I can fit 2 of those on this. I can fit that app twice on this. I'm doing stuff, right? On 512 megabyte, $15 computer, I can fit 2 of these because I upgraded to Java 21 and I'm using Spring Boot 3.2. But let's not stop there, right? Let's not stop. Let's go. One of the other features that we get with Spring Boot 3.2, Spring Boot 3, it's been out for over a year, is this AOT compilation, the native compilation. So right now I'm on an ARM64 Mac Silicon M1, and it's gonna go and it's gonna optimize it. So I have a regular picture that I draw. Let's draw it down here, right? For a long time, we were deploying bytecode, and that bytecode ran on top of a JVM. And and that sits on top of your operating system, right? But your operating system sits on top of your architecture, right? ARM 64, AMD 64. Either one, like Linux really doesn't care. But the JVM for a long time would say, hey, like, I see that you're running this code a lot, and it's a hotspot in your application, so we're going to optimize it using the JVM. We're going to optimize it down to run native operating system, your native operating system wherever you're at. The JVM knows how to do that, and it's been able to do that for a long time. Well, GraalVM came along a few years ago from the GraalVM team over at Oracle, and they said, why not just do it all? Why not do this thing for the entire set of bytecode and then just get rid of the JVM? That's what we're doing over here. It took 1 minute and 17 seconds, but now I've got this native image for Darwin and ARM64. So mine here. Actually, what I did was I'll draw some pictures over here. Boop. It optimized for Darwin and ARM64. So this image that I've created is only going to work on Darwin and ARM64. Whereas bytecode can run on any JVM anywhere. That was part of the value. It's still part of the value of Java, right? Once run anywhere. But I've got Raspberry Pis, and I want optimized for my Raspberry Pis. So let's run it. Let's do this native image thing. I still got my Spring Boot 3.2. It still starts up. Ooh, it starts up way fast. It's still healthy. It's still my Spring Boot 3.2 app. And now look at this. I give it 6 of those on a $15 Raspberry Pi 02. So back to this question of, like, what's the purpose? Why are we doing this? The Circle CI part is so I can, Circle CI has ARM64 runners. So I can do my native image build over there. I don't worry about doing it locally and wasting that minute. Who's got that much time? I'm letting my pipeline do that. So what I did was I shared with you kind of my vision for you. You should be doing this. For whatever you're taking to production, any of your Spring Boot apps, you're building images somewhere, and it's super duper easy. All right, let's go back here. Locally, the only thing you've got to do is Spring Boot build image. Where am I looking here? Right here. So I get it. I got that out of by having the Spring Boot Maven plugin. I have this ability to make these images, and it uses build packs. So I get a consistent delivery on how these are going to production. Friends, don't let friends use Docker files. That's where I draw the line. Deploy to production on Super Bowl Sunday. Do it all day, but don't use Docker files. Don't bring that in here, okay? Don't. Like, we're friends. Don't bring that in here. So hopefully that answers your question. I put these out here as a way to show you how easy it can be to make these native images. And then I also show you that what I'm doing is I grab that same native image for AMD 64, the one I build in GitHub, the ARM64 one that I build over in Circle CI, but I grab them and I stick them together into a Docker manifest. So if I'm on this machine and I deploy it on this machine, which is ARM64, it will pull down from the registry the ARM64 image. And if I'm on another machine or your machine, or you pull one down and you're on AMD 64, you will automatically get the AMD 64 image. And then you don't have to think. We can still go to production. We can both still use the same deployment file. Not that one. This one. We can still use the same deployment file because all we're saying is just give me version 3. Under that version 3, under that manifest, your registry, the registry, will pull down either one it needs. But we don't have to change our configurations depending on if we're running on Raspberry Pis or on Nooks. The manifest takes care of that for us. And someday soon we'll glue another one on here. Right? Because I don't know when to stop. So someday soon we'll have some other infrastructure and it'll be running these RISC-V images. Hopefully that helped. You are very welcome. Like, if that's something that you didn't know before, and hopefully you got like a little bit of value out of that question. Dan, like, what do we say? Like, if you come to my house for dinner and you leave hungry, that's your fault. If you come here and you got questions, you don't ask them, that's your fault. I'm here. I'm telling you, tell your friends, I'm here. And I had fun stream this morning. I had to end a little bit short, but the idea here is I just want to be available and I want to answer your questions. I'm going to do here on this stream, I'm going to mess with Spring Boot, Raspberry Pi, Kubernetes, path to production, right? DevOpsy things. And DevOps, I should say DevOps, right? Like that's what we're gonna do. But I'm here to just answer questions. So we're having fun. We are still. I'm wondering if I've subscribed to this thing right. So maybe that's too long. So let's see what we can do here. We can close that. How many seconds? In 10 days? Let's see if this works. Or maybe let's just ignore that. Let's just see what we get. Take the default and let's see if we can subscribe. So this is the URL that, yeah, I expect them to be doing a push. I don't want to have to do a pull. So, okay, so now it didn't error out. So now let's go back to our stuff. Oh, it said stream closed. What happened? Zero, we want a tail. Like, I'm expecting something to come through. I'm expecting something to come through. Oh, wait, I gotta do it. I gotta do another edit, right? So we're gonna go here. This is a new description. Again, bang. Let's save it, because what we expect here is that when we make a change to our video, when we upload a video, we change the title or the description, that we're gonna get some kind of push notification. I expected that push is gonna be a post because they're sending me some data, and we're gonna watch. Look at this. Look at this. I think I've resolved my issue, but now I'm stuck at pulling my Docker image from my GHCR registry. It's probably because of authentication. Any ideas how to manage secrets? It's Kubernetes. So my Flux repo is public, so I don't want my secrets to be stuck there. Okay, great. Let me show you what I'm doing. So I do the same thing, right? You'll see here how I've managed that. So in here, in this Flux control, I show you this where I'm doing an environment substitution. So I have the regular stuff. I have the hi Pinkemma, thank you for being here. I have some of the stuff, all the stuff in my repository, but I have these This is where my secrets go. I'm using Kubernetes secrets, but I don't want to put the secret in my repository. So I say, hey, let me deploy this stuff separate using the secrets that I've got in my secret store. So there's still nothing here. So what I say is I give you the instructions on how to do that. So here in the README, if I want to deploy this tunnel that has that secret substitution, I say customize build with this file, pipe to this env substitution program, and then pipe that out and just apply it. So fill in my secrets to the stuff that's in my GitHub repo and just pump that out. And the way that I have those secrets, I love seeing action Twitch bots. I need to do this. I need to do this. So here's where we're at. I'll show the thing on how this works, because I think I do it in a couple of places here. You see me, like, when I come into my terminal, I gotta type in my big long key. Not so much in this one, but I do have it in my other Flux control. I'm gonna bring it over here because I might have some real secrets in there, which I do. Let me show it in another one. We'll leave this here, but I make a .envrc file. Let me open this other project and I'll show you. So the secret variable, is that the actual secret value or a path to it? It's the actual value. So let me show you an example of what we're doing here. And we showed this a few times recently. Let me do, sorry, I keep on changing these things. Here, the YouTube, like the next part of this is here. So in my secret, in my .envrc, this file, I use dir-env. So again, these are the kinds of tips that I wish I had somebody show me when earlier in my career. Dir-env is the thing. So this is the tool that I use so that I can switch between projects. When I come into the directory, I have these values set. Just like my SDK-man-rc. When I come into the directory, I want to be using this version of Liberica. When I come into the directory, I want access to these environment values, these environment variables. But I don't want these secrets on my machine. And I don't want my secrets to be Pink Emma's got all of my secrets because I've put them on stream so many times. She's got screenshots of all my keys and she's been using up all my OpenAI tokens. So I don't want to do that anymore. So what I do is I have Bitwarden and I have a Bitwarden client set up and a Bitwarden config so that when I come into this directory, this Bitwarden client calls into my secret store and it grabs this value out of that secret store and it grabs from that item, it grabs the login password from that item so that I don't have to have secrets on my local machine. This is a super awesome thing because now we're doing the same thing with Josh, with my buddy Josh. I showed him this. Hey, we're doing the dir-env. Like, how do we work on the same project and have the same secrets? We want to be in the same way. So in this project over here, this is all tied into YouTube, right? GitHub. We're trying to make it easier and automate the things. Where we did this project, YouTube Atoms. So it's okay for us to actually put that envrc file in a GitHub, because in order to get those things, you've got to unlock and you got to get a session. You got to get access to his. But as long as we're comfortable using the same names for those items in our secret store, we can share this same pattern. And we can both work on this and we can have it updated. So if he adds a environment variable that we need to both use, he can put it in there. And I can see, oh, I need that. I need an open API key. Cool. And I can either copy it into that same value, but this is how we're doing things. But we don't have to share our secrets. We can switch between each other's machines. No secret, and there's no secrets on our machine. So that's the other piece, is that we don't have secrets on our machines. Hey, absolutely. Yes. Yes, you can do it with 1Password. And what I'm told is 1Password is the way to go. It's the most secure of all these things. I choose Bitwarden for 2 reasons. It's open source, and I can grab my own instance of it. I can deploy Bitwarden onto my home lab, and I can use the same Bitwarden client to their commercial one or to my home lab one. So I can have the same consistency across all the places. That's the one thing I can't do with 1Password. Even though I found out recently that my good friend Rob Winch, Spring Security lead, he highly recommends 1Password, and that's his recommendation. So, yes, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. So, it's like Vault. Think of it like Vault. Right, and you could do the same pattern with Vault, right? It's the very similar pattern. I used to do it with CredHub, if you remember CredHub. But I want to have one that I can deploy in my space, in here, that I can manage. I'm an open source person. I like open source, and I like to contribute to open source. So this is what we're doing. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully this dir-env thing, this way of securing your secrets in a way that you can still share like configurations, right? You might put a .envrc sample file, or if you're working with somebody else, like, hey, yeah, here's where they go. It works just the same. I started with 1Password because of work, but Bitwarden seems nice too. I'm a fan. It's working well for me. So let's go back and see. We still don't have anything coming back from our YouTube. So what we expected was, I expected, right, this is the no-op. I expected to be able to sign up here, subscribe. Here's my callback URL. I shouldn't need anything else. Here's my callback URL. This is where I want them to post that information. I'm going to put a slash here. I don't know if that makes a difference. But here's the topic. That's a channel. Maybe I have the wrong channel ID. But let's try synchronous. Let's try asynchronous. I don't remember which is which. But let's try this to subscribe again. Take the rest of them defaults. Okay, it looks like it did something, right? It looks like I should be subscribed. Okay, so both times it checked to see if that existed at least. But now let's go change. 3rd time's the charm. Maybe. Let's save it. What I expect is that when I save this, because it says right here, if I update a video description, oh, maybe it's because this is a live feed and maybe that doesn't count. Let's try, let's see. I don't see anything yet. Let's try another video, right? Those are different, right? Supercharge. This is one I was working on last week. Let's do this. Bang. Let's see. Save. Nothing there. So maybe I'm doing something wrong. But hey, I wanted it to work, right? And if it doesn't work, I'll always wish that it did. But this is where I'm gonna have to go and dig. Like, how do you subscribe here? Am I doing something? Do I have the right channel ID? I don't know. Now, let me see if this is anything. All right, I could just go pull this feed. Clearly, I can go pull this feed. Let's see if it did any updates. Do I get a description in there? I get the title. So it took the part 2, and I see it. So the feed's getting updated, but the whole point of this is I want to subscribe to the push notifications. I'm gonna subscribe to the push notifications. H3 hooks. Yeah, it is much more efficient. Like who wants to pull this thing? So I gave it the right topic URL. This is the callback URL. I said it async. I did the subscribe. I did just like things, just like I wanted. Yeah, like it would be nice if that worked, but I'm not seeing anything. The way I have it set up is that post. Oh, watch this. Right? We know how to test it because we published docs on how to test it. Right? We published our docs with it. So our docs are here. Right? I know exactly what to do. Watch this. All I gotta do is copy and paste. This is an example. All I gotta do is copy and paste. Watch this. I'm gonna go over here. And I'm gonna paste that bad boy. And it says, okay. Look at that. Uh-oh. What happened? Connection. Oh, it tried to do my Zipkin span. I didn't deploy all the other stuff that I expected. But this is what I want to see. I want to see that feed. I want to see that feed come in just like I did. So how come when I make a change, I'm not getting the events? I don't know. I've never done this before. I'm doing it live with you. Like we're learning together. But is my expectation wrong? I said subscribe or unsubscribe. Maybe I should unsubscribe and subscribe again. Let's try that. Let's unsubscribe. Did it do anything? Yeah, it made a call. It did something. And maybe I'm not answering this call right. Let's subscribe again. Same values. Let's subscribe. Okay. So now I'm subscribed. So it's doing something. So is there something more that I need to be doing here? I don't know, maybe. But we're gonna go try this one more time. We're gonna say that I expect to get that call, and I didn't. So that's kind of a anticlimactic. And again, I'm just with you, with us. We're hanging out. I just wanted to do it so that it sounds great. The idea is good. So I'm gonna have to dig in a little bit more. Let's go see what am I missing? Simple open web scale decentralized pub sub protocol. Let's see. Can we dig in to the get error? So I don't have anything set at the root. So there's just nothing there. So that error I know is they're trying to get the root, or they're trying to get some URL. Do I know it's the root? That's the only URL that they have, right? So was that firing? So the way that I have it set up is I have it set up as a post method, right? I'm only listening for a post, right? So yeah, I'm only listening for a post. I don't have anything else set up on the root. The only other endpoints that I have available are the actuator endpoints that are giving us the production ready stuff. So when I subscribe or unsubscribe, it's calling that root URL, and I'm assuming it's just calling to validate that it's up. Maybe I need to answer. Maybe I need to return a 200. Let's try that. Right? That's valid. Let's just make this change. And the cool thing is like, I'm using Spring. Can I do this? It's gonna barf at that. No. So let's not push that. Let's go do a test, right? Because we're not animals. So let's just do a simple test like this that just says, hey, cool. And you know what else we're gonna do? So the first one should return success. Like, hey, we do that. We're gonna do this simple get should return. Okay. So instead of health, this is it's kind of a health. I'm gonna call it hello though. And process request. This is just to update the documentation. But we're gonna call this with a get, just the root, and just validate that the status code is 200. So we can run this locally, right? I can run this one command, and it'll start up my instance, and it'll validate that, hey, that test works. If I call the root with a get, I get a status 200. So that's what their service is trying to do. And now I've got a test that validates, yes, if they call that URL, it's gonna be a 200. I'm gonna go back up here and I'm gonna just kind of make things match. So I'm gonna call this hello. So when I do that subscribe, they can actually get a 200, and that's probably what's happening. I'll bet you, or I won't bet, but you know, they were expecting a 200 or something success, and instead we gave them a 500, I believe. Usually, let's see what they're getting. I don't know exactly. YouTube listener, whatever they were doing here, they were getting a 405. This is what the response was. When you do a get on this URL, that's what they're getting. So we're gonna fix that. We want them to believe that we're here. So that was my call. So that's what we're doing. So thanks. Maybe this is the right way to go, but we're gonna go one step further in that we set up our own documentation. So we're using Spring REST docs because I just made a test, and that test is what gives me this HTTP request. It shows me that I can just go, this is how I test that endpoint. I'm gonna do one more. To the root. I don't know how to say this. So this is what we're doing. This is hello. And we're gonna do the same snippets because I'm gonna just use the HTTP. So you're actually like, what snippets? What are you talking about? So when we ran that test, we validated it, but we ran it with Spring REST docs. And we get these snippets here. So we didn't generate that one. Let's do that real quick. We're here. When I do mvnw clean test, oh, there it is. When I run those tests, it gives me these snippets, these bits of code that I can use in my documentation. So I've got this ADoc here. This ADoc is kind of the outline, but inside of that ADoc, I'm putting in these snippets. These snippets are the valid, they were built from the tests. So here, I used the HTTP request. In my test, I had the replacement here, replace localhost 8080 or whatever port it ran with, and plug in the stuff that it's gonna get in the deployment. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm also gonna do the response body. I wanna show in my documentation I think it's response. Maybe I do it like this. Response body. There we go. So fantastic. Let's do that same thing. We're going to be consistent. so that we can show when you use these commands, here's what we expect back. So I'm not only showing you how to call my API, I'm showing you what you should expect back. And how do I know that? How am I keeping that up to date? Because I put it into my tests. My tests run as a part of my build process. I get the snippets out of the tests. These are the responses from the tests, and I did it for each one. And then I take those values and I throw them into my documentation. And you're right, that is pretty cool. And I'm a big fan. So this is Spring REST docs combined with Rest Assured. There's another step that we can do. There's another pattern that we can do here, but let's get through this first and we can come back to that. This idea, I'm building these native images because I'm using Rest Assured. I can add a couple more steps here where in my integration tests, right? If I go back to my picture, somewhere along the line in that path to production, I made these native images. I can actually I can rerun all these tests. Against the containers. So I can take and run these exact same tests that I validated to build my documentation. I can go rerun it after I build my images. I can run the exact same tests against the native images, those smaller footprint images that are for ARM64 and I can do that in my tests, in my integration tests. And that's why I use Rest Assured, and that's pretty cool, is that I can validate my images, and not even my native images. I can validate my images after I build them, that they run the exact same way that my local unit tests did. And that's pretty cool. So we've made changes. We've updated our documentation, right? So when pub/sub/hubub calls that URL on the get, we're trying to make this not hit this warning. We want to return, instead of a 405, we want to return a status 200 and just let them know, like, hey, we're here. You can call us. So now you get to see kind of the rest of the pipeline. So we do this get status. It's just a default memory thing. And we see, like, hey, these are the files we changed. We changed our documentation. We changed our, did we change our application? Oh yeah, that file. And we changed our test. So get add, we commit, we added a hello at slash. Now we're gonna push. Now guess what? That push doesn't do anything, right? That push, when I go back to my repository, that push does not do anything. I've got my listener here, and I've got my actions that I shared with you, but my actions are set up so that it doesn't do anything on these commits, right? I added readmes. I tried to add information here, but I didn't create new images. The way that I like to do things, the way that I want to create these images, and I'm going to leave that running. This is going to be fun. The way that I want to create images is I do get tag v0.0.4. And now get push origin v0.0.4. This is the version that I want. In my POM file, I don't like messing with this stuff. Maybe you do, and maybe you've got other things, but I don't like messing with this. So I use these plugins, jgetver, and this other extension that allow me to identify which operating system and platform I'm on. And then I use this to create my images. So when I do this, mvnw spring boot build image here, when I run this, it's going to get its version from the tag. So we'll see here pretty quick. It's doing its thing. It's going to go grab the, you can see it's making that V004. But I have it putting on that architecture piece because that's important for what I'm trying to do next, right? Remember, I'm building these native images. So I'm building separate images for architecture. So on this one, it's ARM64, AArch 64. But in GitHub, in the GitHub actions, it's going to build for AMD 64 because I made that tag. Because I added that tag, now my actions are running, right? Because it's got a tag. So those GitHub actions, those Circle CI actions, they said only do this process when it's been tagged. So now it's going to go here. It's kicking off. It's going to do the same thing that I did right here. It's going to take a little bit longer because I told it to make a native image. And remember that native image, it took 1 minute and 17 seconds, but we're using smaller, cheaper Docker images in these clouds. And let me show you what it's doing over at circleci.com. And again, my question is, I think that you can see these. So somebody tell me if you can see the status here. I think you can. Can you go to that URL and see the status of these builds? I think it's made public, but I'm not sure. You definitely can on the GitHub side. But these are just, they're doing the same thing. As similar as possible, using these build packs. Perfect. Like that's all. I want to be as public and clear as possible. I want you to be able to share in. That's wonderful. Like that's the goal here. I want you to see it because there's some really interesting bits and tricks. I know I'm doing this DIY and there's better platforms, but I'm building on Raspberry Pis and Nooks and ancient hardware. Hey, I've been talking about you a lot today. Maybe your ears are burning. Jitter Ted, welcome. Thank you for hanging out. This part right here, like why I'm here, I think you've heard me say it. I like feeling like I'm working with somebody, having somebody else, even when it's just me at my desk. So I'm just trying to do that for somebody else. And I've been saying like, you are that. Like, I wanna be here. Like interrupt me, ask questions. I wanna be here. I don't have a schedule. Nobody's waiting for this to get deployed. It's just me. We're hanging out. And what we're building today is this kind of, I'm working on this YouTube pipeline. So when I make a new YouTube video, my jitter sense was tingling. When I make a new video on YouTube, they have this PubSub API that we can subscribe to. And I was trying it and I was subscribing, but what was happening was when I subscribed, it hit this URL and I didn't have anything sitting there. I was just expecting a post. But what we're guessing is that they're doing some kind of, whoops, I don't know what I just did there. Let's go back here. I'm gonna hit the 0 button to go back to the tail of those logs. What we're thinking, we're guessing is that we should put something at the root of this Spring Boot application that says, okay, like give a 200 response because it was giving a 400 response. This is what was happening. So I subscribe, it would hit that 405, and I'm assuming that it was not doing the actual subscription. What we want, what we're hoping for, is that when we upload a video or we modify something, we're hoping that we're gonna get some little feed of that data. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do. We want this to be automated. So what we've just done is we kicked off a new build where we added that, and I think you'll appreciate this. I have tests for all of my things, not all of the things, and I could probably get some insight, but I'm using Spring REST docs. So I added this hello method that is at the root of my Spring Boot application, and it's just gonna return okay. And I'm validating, I'm also building my documentation, but I'm validating that it returns a 200. And yeah, and that's here. So simple method to return a 200, and I'm also generating documentation. So I'm using Spring REST docs to show that when you call that root, you do get on that root. Here I use this HTTP client. When you call that root, you should get an okay. So we tested it, we built our docs, we submitted it, we tagged it, and the tags kick off our build process. And that build process is gonna do a couple of things. That build process is building a native image for x86 over on GitHub, and it's building an ARM64 image over on Circle CI. But it only does it once I've built the tag, once I've tagged it and said, yes, do that. So that's the way it's set up, but it's all there. It's public for you to take this for a spin. And the second part here is the manifest. The manifest, it's saying, hey, I know that I'm done with this x86 version. Can I pull down an ARM64 version of the same exact version? So that requires you've got the versions the same way. And it's going to wait until it can pull down this ARM64 version. Where are your Docker images stored? Great question. They are stored on hub.docker.com. So if we go over here to the YouTube listener and we look at the tags, so this is yesterday's version, and that one's going to be tied to this v0.0.3. We just built v0.0.4 x86. This is the native image layer that I pushed up. I pushed it up to Docker, right? So that one was in the first step here. Let me go back to here, build. That part of my build process, it built the x86 version and it pushed it up. And then I had a second piece of that job. We can look at the job. I had a second piece of that job. I'll show you over here. So first one is it does the build. Cool. Oh, nope, sorry. This is the one where it does the Spring Boot build image. That's where it's building the x86 version. And then the second piece is where we build the manifest. And the manifest, it says, hey, you already finished building the x86 version. So now, can I pull down an ARM64 version of that yet? And if it can't, it'll time out for 5 minutes and it'll wait for 60 seconds to retry. So it'll try 6 times and hopefully it succeeds. Hopefully it gets there. And then it'll try to create this manifest where it takes the x86 version, takes the ARM64 version and sticks them into a manifest. And now we're done. So now let's go back and look. So now my latest version, I have the latest tag. These are the exact same thing. You'll see that the SHAs are the same thing. My latest version is actually v0.0.4, and v0.0.4, you can see here, it's got both of those layers. It's got an AMD 64 and an ARM 64. And those are made up of these two images that one got created over in GitHub. The other one got created over in Circle CI. Fantastic. One of the things I want to do is deploy a native image of my app instead of using a build pack, but don't want to pay for Docker image storage because I'm cheap. So you don't have to deploy the Docker image. You can still create the native image locally. So if I go here, you don't have to deploy. Like if you're deploying, so we already went through, I'm deploying these to Raspberry Pis. $15 Raspberry Pi. I know you got Raspberry Pi money. I know you got Raspberry Pi money. You can afford a $15 Raspberry Pi. You can deploy this. You can make your application native just by doing the /nvnw-p native:compile. This is going to take a minute or so, but I'm just showing this as that you're going to get a binary. You're going to get a native binary that you can run. Now the binary, again, if I build it on ARM64, this one is only going to work on Darwin ARM64. So if I want to do this for Raspberry Pi, I could use that native image, I could use the build pack, and I could go into that build pack and snag out the binary bits, and I could deploy it on my Raspberry Pi. Because if I'm using the build pack, it's Linux. So it's going to optimize, this is what it's doing, right? My pipeline for Circle CI, it's running a build pack, which is Linux, and it's optimizing for ARM64. So the binary that's inside of that image, the binary that is inside of this image here is Linux ARM64. So I could go into that image, I could pull it out, and I could run that on my Raspberry Pi that's running Linux on ARM64. So yes, but I wanted to try deploying to a PAS that only supports Docker images. You just don't want to pay for the source. So you don't have to deploy it here. You don't have to deploy your images. If you want to just have your images on your local machine in your local, we can get into that. You can have your own local registry. You can deploy these just the same. So whose idea was it to name it AMD64 and ARM64? Those names are so. So, yeah, I get it. I get it. And then, right, you know, I also alluded to coming soon. We're gonna be doing the same thing on RISC-V devices that are similarly priced and available. So yeah, like we're doing stuff. So now we're done. So I go back here to my action, and this tells me that I've got a version 4, and this tells me I've got a version 4. So how do I get that deployed into my cluster? Remember, we're doing the GitOps thing. So I go over here and I change this deployment from V003 to V004. And because I'm not patient, I'm gonna go over here to one of these other places. I'm gonna hit this. Oh, did it already back out? Is it already doing the deployment? Oh, it scaled down. So after 15 minutes, it scaled down. Hey, how are you? Welcome in. We're rocking and rolling. The goal this weekend is figure out deploying a native image to AWS Lambda. I'm here to help, right? I want to add some GitOps so I don't accidentally push stuff to prod. Yes, yes. So now look, I've got my container, my 0.0.4 container is running, and I can go validate that. It's up, and watch this. Because we added the things, this should say okay. Boom. And I can go verify my actuator info, and I can see all the bits. I can see, hey, we're running 0.0.4. So we're good. We're here. Now, let's see what's happening. Let's go unsubscribe. Just because. Okay, this is expected. And let's see if it did anything. Like, hey, were you talking to us? I don't see any errors. That's good. But let's go subscribe again. We're gonna use the exact same values. Boom. Give it to me. Here's the topic I want. Give it to me. Here. Now let's go see. Did you call me? I don't see requests. Okay, fingers crossed. We didn't get any warnings. Did it call? I don't know. I don't have request logging turned on, but let's see. We're gonna keep on watching this. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cross our fingers that the pub sub actually worked, that we actually have a subscription somewhere. So now we're gonna go and do our little test. This is the goal. We're gonna change a description of one of our videos, and we're gonna hit save. It's saved. And now I want to see a feed. That's all. If I can get a feed, I'm happy, and I'll be done for today. Actually, maybe not this weekend. I got a couple of tickets to work on. Oof. Yeah, good luck. Hope is sometimes a strategy. Yeah, like, am I wrong here? I had some little expectation of what this would look like, and of course how easy it would be, but I guess I want too much. I ask for too much, clearly. Let's go back. I did asynchronous. Maybe that's like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. Let's try this. Let's try synchronous. Subscribe, same thing. Let's see what that does. Challenge mismatch. What does that mean? What challenge? I don't understand. So it's asking me for something? I don't know. It's the same, like challenge mismatch. I don't know what I could do. The asynchronous seems to be working. I'm not getting anything. So maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong. I'm saving a channel. I'm saving a video to my channel. I verified that the channel information is exactly what I want. Right? We went and looked at the feed that I didn't want to have to pull. And I don't want to have to pull. You shouldn't want that. Nobody should want that. So here's the feed. If I hit refresh, now the change they made is way far away somewhere. But I'm not asking for too much. I verified that this is the feed. I'm giving them the right feed here. I'm giving PubSub the right feed. I made a change. It's asynchronous, so that means we'll get to it when we get to it. But maybe I got more reading to do. I thought it would be easy. Forgive me. But yeah, I clearly have more work to do. Process notifications sent to your callback server. The notification format is below. So maybe I've got to read. There's a subscriber diagnostics section. When was the last time I dabbled in front end? 2 days ago, using Vaadin. You should check out the episode, the Spring Office Hours episode. We talk about it a little bit. You can check it out on YouTube, or you can listen to the podcast on your ride home. So in PubSub, I'm looking for subscriber diagnostics. That would be awesome. So here's the Google Hub. Nope, that's the same. Let's go here. We did the subscribe. So I'm looking. If you've got a URL that you can throw out. These are the specs. Because that would be awesome. Yeah, we have our lease seconds, okay. So whenever, and this is where I got the post from, whenever new content is added to a feed, notify the hub. So they're taking posts. Oh, I wonder if they're sending me they wouldn't be sending me form URL encoded, right? It was further down on the subscribe page. Oh, callback URL. Yeah, this one. Topic URL. Sure. Get info. Subscribe, unsubscribe, last verification error. So, okay. Last delivery error. So, nothing delivered. Wait, unverified. How do I verify? So thank you for that. Thank you. I was looking right over that. This helps. This helps with what we're trying to do. So the hub sends the hub challenge parameter to the subscriber. Where is this? The hub sends the hub.challenger parameter to the subscriber to verify the subscription. The subscriber must respond with that challenge as a response body to validate the subscription. But was that on? Where was that? I'm not validating. And how did it do that? How did it send the hub challenger parameter? See, this is why teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, That sounds like something good. Let's find that. Um, where did you find that? Response with challenge, yeah. So I've got to do. That sounds like something valuable, but that's not here, right? No. So at some point, I don't see where you saw this at. The hub sends the hub challenge parameter to the subscriber. Okay. Hub verifies intent in order to prevent an attacker from creating unwanted subscriptions on behalf of a subscriber. A hub must ensure the subscriber did indeed send the subscription request. The hub verifies. Okay, so this makes sense. I found that in a search for the problem, but doesn't PubSub do a get or post to your feed? So it does. So the hub verifies subscription request by sending a get request to the subscriber's callback URL as given in the subscription request. The request has the following query string of arguments appended. So it's got this hub.mode, hub.topic, hub.challenge, a hub generated random string that must be echoed by the subscriber to verify the subscription. Okay, so we can do that, right? So, right, that's the only thing I have to do, right? So here we go, like fantastic. You here. We're working through this, and this is it. Like I think that's what's missing. DMOC, I think we're here, and you found it, and I found it, and I went to the specification, and yeah, that's exactly what we had to do. Who knew that it was going to be this complicated, right? So yeah, looks like we need to echo back the hub.challenge from the callback endpoint. So let's do that. So let's go down to our here, and this thing is going to do this. We want to give it a query string. I kind of want to make it a random query string, right? But or no, it's going to be hub dot. Look at that. Are you kidding me? Somebody earlier was asking about, I think it was Codecore, was asking about, do I use Copilot? Like, look at this. Like, heck yeah. If you call hub.mode subscribe, hub.challenge, some challenge string, and hub.verify token, we're not going to do a verify token. We're going to do that, but we're expecting hub.mode. We got it. We're expecting hub.topic, the topic URL. Yeah, we'll get it. Copilot is telling you what most people do, right? But it's going to have a hub.topic, hub.challenge, cool, and hub.least seconds. So maybe, but it's definitely going to have a hub.topic. So we're here, like. So if that happens, cool. Git should echo the hub challenge. Assert status 200 and the body is yes. Challenge string like hello Copilot, how are you doing? Right? Because if I pass in challenge string on my hub.challenge, I should respond. The body should be challenge string. So now we got to go make that change because this should fail, right? This should fail. Let's make sure of that first. Am I doing this right? Okay, it didn't work. That's good. That's what we wanted because we changed our test. Now we're going to go change our code. Am I doing this right? So here, now I want at request RAM. Like, are you kidding me? Yeah, it fails because the string didn't match. So I wrote my test. I expected it to fail because I didn't implement it yet. So now I'm expecting a hub mode, hub challenge, hub topic, right? Because those are the things that are required. Hub mode, hub topic, hub challenge. This may be, but we're not putting it in. So here, we're doing these things. And now all I want to do is return, right? I can do this logger.info. Yeah. And thank you. For those of you that don't know, Ted is amazing and he's a TDD champion, if there is such a thing. He's awesome. And I learned from watching him. We're doing this, I think, the right way. But now the cool thing is I made my test. I'm doing this. I'm going to rerun this, verifying that now my test is fixed. Wonderful. Like, that's great. But now I'm going to take it one step further. I want to make sure that my doc is good, right? So do I have docs over here? Actually, I think I can just go peek and I think it'll already have it. Look at this. So my doc, because I ran my test, my doc over here has the new stuff that we're going to get on that get request. And it says, hey, if you pass in a challenge string, then you will get back a challenge string. So cool. I'm feeling like we're good. And thank you everybody for helping, because this is awesome. Like this, let's do more of this, right? This is what I want. You guys are helping me. So get status, get add stuff, get commit, handle hub dot, or let's say echo hub dot challenge, and let's go. Now remember, our pipelines didn't kick off because we didn't give it a tag, right? We covered this. I told you about Duran, how I'm keeping my secrets. There's our stuff. Here's our docs that are going to get updated in a sec. But we can see here by looking at my dashboard, small verified steps is away. We can see here that nothing's running because we committed something. It sees that, but we didn't tag it, so it's not going to run. Same thing over on the GitHub side. So now I think we can go. Yeah, thank goodness we read the docs. Let's close that. We'll do this in a sec. We'll do that in a sec. We already did this. I don't need to look at this other stuff. Let's just go. Here. Git tag v 0.0.5. Git push origin v 0.0.5. Okay, cool. We pushed a tag, and now we'll look at Circle CI, and we're good. Circle CI is running. I can pull up for you if you want to follow along. Java grunt -com, this com Java grunt listener actions. we'll see that it's kicked off. I'll remind, like, hey, we're building both the native images. We're not doing this yet. So this is what we're doing. And, right, pipeline, you want to do a git push and you want your things to go. Ted wants to have these native images in a Docker container deployed to his paths, but we don't want to pay for a Docker bridge. Now, my registry, I think I'm on the free version over here. You can have one registry. You can have one. It's got to be public images, but you can have public images for one org in Docker. And think Docker's doing great things for the community right now, right? Docker just bought Atomic Jar. I don't know the details, but congratulations to everybody at Docker and Atomic Jar. Atomic Jar, creator of, the house of test containers. I love test containers, but yeah, now it's a part of Docker. So we're doing this and public images. So there you go. I don't have extra money to be thrown around either. So this is what I do. So what I have to do for all of my different orgs, all of my different tenants, they're all under the Deshaun org. So here we go. I just realized I have another thing, so I'm gonna have to wrap up here. I got some other work I need to get done, but this has been fun. I would really like it. This worked. Let's do a little refresh here. Do we have anything? Nope, we don't have anything version 5 yet. So let's run it over here. Let's take a look. It's gonna take a few minutes, but fantastic. So maybe I should swap to public images too. Can't get this authentication to work. Oh, the GHCR authentication. I mean, right? Ted just said it. Small verified steps is the way. So yeah, like, come on over. It'll be fine. And then later we'll tackle that. Let's get through the easy stuff, and then we'll do the hard stuff later. Let's do that. I appreciate you being here and sharing your little journey. It means a lot. This has been fun. What a great way. I'm feeling pretty good about this because we didn't read all the docs. We read the part that was going to get us to where we needed to be. We skimmed over the rest. So let's see what happens. Let's take a look at our pipelines. We're still building the images. Let's check over here. How are we holding up? So the last image took 6 minutes, so we got another 3 minutes. So we can hang out and talk about the weather. Hey, I'm glad that you're here. Just this is a great way to end the week. I'm glad that you're learning. I'm glad. Tell your friends. It's fun. Spring Boot is fun. It's fun that we can go to production like this it's a couple of streams, right? Like just the streams total. Right, let's take a look. We got it right here. Like, I started this yesterday. We streamed for like 2 or 3 hours. Where is it? Here. Where's the length? 3 hours and 47 minutes. So almost 4 hours. And then this morning, so that's 4. Let's call it 5 hours. And then what we're doing right now. So 5 hours, we're taking something to production. We're building native images. We're asking questions. Like, that's a day's work. Like, how cool is it that we are getting this thing deployed, connecting it to YouTube, the API, because we're using Spring Boot, because we're doing the native images. We can do it. We're testing locally on my local Kubernetes. And I plugged it into Cloudflare, and I got all the Cloudflare stuff done. And I showed all the Flux CD and all that stuff. So we did all this stuff this morning too. We did all of it. We checked all the boxes: Spring Boot, Raspberry Pi, Kubernetes, path to production. We talked about DevOps and DevOps. Like, that's Spring. DevOps is we coined that yesterday. Developer upgrades, DevOps. That's what we're trying to do here. That's what we're trying to do. We're having fun. We're having fun. I'm happy. We're getting there. All right, we got an image. We got an image. Look at this. We should have a V005 here. Oh, there. So now this should be coming along in less than 2 minutes, right? Give or take. But how nice is this? So Ted, like, all of this infrastructure is free. Like, I would pay for Circle CI, but this is great. Like, I'm getting this much of their infrastructure for free to build these ARM64 images. Thank you very much, Circle CI. Circle CI, thank you. Thank you, Circle CI. I really do appreciate it. And they're like the first that were out there doing this. Like, they were definitely a front runner in making this available, because before I was, right, so I maintained this multi-architecture build pack, and I was having to do it on my own infrastructure. I was doing it on Oracle's free tier. Their ARM64 Ampere images. But like I said, I don't have cloud money. I got Raspberry Pi money. And thank you, Circle CI. Thank you, Oracle, who was doing it for me before that. We're doing all this. You can do it. It's, if you got questions, you get stuck, you ask, right? So DMOX76, where can we stick in automation test step here so only tested build can go to prod? So this is exactly what I'm showing here. So I'm doing it kind of a manual step where if you're running on a pass, you're going to have some gate. I want you to be able to control without having to do all of your CI/CD. How do you do a rollback? So on my platform, my little setup here, when I build these images, so now our 005 is done, the way I have it set up is I don't want it automatically going to production. Even though I would, but I don't want that. I built a tag because if I wanted to grab the latest version, I could just do this. And it would grab the latest tag. So let's go and look. It would grab the latest tag right here. Latest that just got made a minute ago. That latest is the exact same as this V005. If I just wanted to automatically pull the latest version, I could do that by just doing this. So that as it goes through, test pass, image created, I get a new version, latest version. That's how I do it. But I'm going to deploy this way because sometimes I make mistakes. And sometimes I'm deploying to different places, but this is how I'm going to do it. But, you know, for now, let's just do this, right? Like, does that make sense? So I don't have to do it. I'm building my images. I'm validating the images. Pink Emma is here. Icon33, thank you so much for being here. Icon, we're going to do it. I'm going to do this for consistency. Z005. Get status. That's a default commit, or get add dot get commit. So this way, when I'm doing it this way, I've got an audit log that says, hey, this is what version is supposed to be deployed. So I do it, I push it. We're here. Okay, nothing's deployed, it's scaled to 0. So there's not a deployment out there. But now it's gonna get that new version. Look at this. This is nice, a nice little group here. And Jitter Ted, I'm gonna forget, one of your moderators showed up earlier in the week, and that was very pleasant. Yes, we're doing stuff. Hello, welcome, welcome. Wow, so over on Twitch and on YouTube, this week has been a wonderful week. I'm trying to stream every day from 8:30 to 10:30. This morning I got cut a little short, so I added a little bit in the afternoon. But I'm trying to be here. I'm trying to be available. And I've blown through my goals for the year. I had set some like, hey, subscriber goals and some hours streaming goals and all that, and I've blown through. So thank you everybody, because what a great week. It's been a wonderful week. And yeah, you and me both. You and me both. So now look at this. I've got my new deployment. It happens to be deployment 5 that just matches up only because I deployed every version. But here we are. So now I've got this application running. Let's see what's up. Let's go here. I think I can go back. My values are still there. We're doing it. Are you guys ready? Do you think we're ready? Here, let's go get the logs. Let's go look at those logs. I'm gonna hit 0 to get the tail. And let's go. Fingers crossed. Look at look at that. Look at that. We can see, hey, they're sending us the stuff. They're sending us the challenge. Now let's go back and let's check out our subscriber diagnostics again. See, you guys were paying attention. I wasn't. Let's go see what it says. Last successful. We had a successful verification. It's verified. What is this? What are we fetching? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're over here. We subscribed to YouTube just now. We just figured it out. We subscribed to YouTube. We haven't gotten a test, right? We subscribed. Hello. This is awesome. This is awesome. I am so happy that you guys are here to see like us winning. The struggle I feel like is over because I had so much help from you, and here we are. What we've done is, what are we subscribing to? We are subscribing to YouTube. We've subscribed to this channel that has our YouTube feed so that we don't have to go and ask for updates. We said, hey, give me this feed. When there's anything changed, here's what the docs say. When I upload a video, when I update a title or a description, I expect to get something. So let's check it out. Let's check it out. We're gonna go here and we're gonna update something. We're gonna update one of my videos. Here, the Twitch metrics exporter that we did earlier this week. We're gonna update the description. I'm saying bang, bang. I'm hitting save. This is the moment. I'm hoping that this comes through. Please come through. What a great way to end the day. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I expect that I should get something. How much time? How long do we wait? It says I'm subscribed. Oh, you know what? Guess what? We have this button over here. It didn't try. So let's see. There was no delivery error. I had a verification error. Wait. Yeah, that was a long time ago because we were successful here. That was 26 minutes ago. The unsubscribe. Yeah, that was a long time ago. We're here. So yeah, I've been having fun, and this has been a wonderful week. A lot of new folks coming in, a lot of great questions, and it's been fun. And I feel like we're right there, but this is something new. Like, I didn't prepare this. I didn't make something so I could redo it. I'll do that later, hopefully. But this was just us all learning together, building something that seemed like a good idea. To tie into some of the other projects that we're working on, like Icon, who's here. Yeah, Icon is here. Now we can plug this into your projects, right? So we can do this. But yeah, I'm here. I'm building with Spring Boot. I'm deploying to Raspberry Pis with Kubernetes, and yeah, all these other things. So I'm covering kind of all the bases, but this is the main thing. Like, when you come here, interrupt. You can bring in all your questions about anything. I'm just here. And I've had a wonderful time this week. I'm glad. I'm trying to get a head start on my New Year's resolution. I'm trying to get a head start on next year. I want to stream every day. I want to do this. It was a great way to start the day this week, and I want to keep on doing it. So I still don't see anything here, but also it doesn't say that it's delivered anything. So we're asking it verified here, but it's not doing it. So learning together is definitely the best. And yeah, so I expected that to happen. Maybe let's try on something like closer, newer. That was this week though. Like I'm gonna try. I can dream. Okay, fourth. Save. Maybe. It's not delivering anything. Well, I was excited. I mean, we got the challenge. Like that's good. Right? We got the challenge. You know what though? Let's see. Can I look at that? I want to see what the did I do it right? I can't like scroll over. So maybe I do this slightly different because I really want to get this to work, but I also have another thing to do. So I'm going to call it good. This has been fun. I'll do this again next week. We'll stream. I'm sure I'm going to build some stuff over the weekend, but we're going to take some stuff to production. We'll add in some other bits that you should want. Hopefully you'll learn something. Hopefully we'll have cool folks joining us in the audience, and we'll learn something together, and we'll build something together. Progress is progress. Yeah, I feel like we're going in the right direction, right? Speed doesn't matter. We're going in the right direction. And yeah, we'll pick it up soon. Ted, I'm gonna get in. I want to get in on your stuff. Are you doing a thing today? No, I got another thing. So sorry. Everybody have a great weekend. Happy Friday. Thank you. Yeah, this has been wonderful. Thank you, everybody. But we'll call it a day. Thanks. We'll see you Monday, 8:30 Central. Bye.